Here with Steve Hall after a WPI split with Oneonta State and Johnson and Wales. And Steve, it's got to be good to get that win against a team like Oneonta State, who performed very well the weekend before at RIT.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about this last week, we've been really hit with a lot of injuries all season so far. It's been one of those years. We just got back to being close to being healthy. So yeah, we went close to a full lineup and against a pretty good team from Oneonta, who placed a couple spots higher than us, but we put a pretty good team effort together there.
Good. We'll talk about some of the outstanding performances in that match.
Yeah, we're getting Brian Amato on the mat finally, and he racked it up against their 25. Tilby had another epic match with Mick. The both of them are in the national ranking scene right now. And then just all the way up through the lineup. Joe Pizzuto looked great. Did a good job getting a pin for us. Peruccio, wrestled tough. Tanner Burke got a pin for us. Pretty much all the way up through the lineup.
Great, and then you take on the number one team in New England, Johnson and Wales, and win two of the first three matches. Talk about those. Amato's win at 125, and we just used the word epic, but I struggle to find another word for Tilby's match against the number one kid in New England at 141.
Yeah, well, again, that match was closer than the score showed. The meet, we had a bunch of toss-ups all the way up through that, if it went our way, it was going to be a pretty tight match. And unfortunately, a couple of those didn't, but Amato coming in, wrestling the number 3 kid in New England, and taking it to him pretty well. Tilby with the number 1 kid in New England and a kid that ranked nationally ahead of him, and winning in double overtime, going to criteria.
Pretty rare that an 11-minute match there.
Yeah, so he had a tough day because Johnson and Wales held a couple guys out, keeping them fresh for our match because they knew it had a potential to be tight. So he's going in wrestling that kid who's fresh, and he already has a last second match with Mick under his belt before he goes on the mat with him. So that makes it even more special, I guess.
Good. And now you're off almost a month. Obviously, you got to get through final exams in the holiday period. Not easy for any winter team, but particularly with wrestling, we have to manage your fitness and your weight. Just talk about the challenges that presents.
Yeah, well, certainly, they can't go home and sit on the couch and eat Doritos. They've got to. They have to maintain their conditioning and their weight level and all those things, and they know that they're all this isn't their first rodeo, so they're going to go home and they'll get in the weight room, and get in their high school wrestling rooms or club rooms and things like that, and try to keep their conditioning going and work on things that we want them to work on.
Great, and then Rhode Island College on the 8th, a dual meet that we won last year here, so obviously the Anchormen looking for revenge. That'll be a challenging match.
Well, yeah, they're ranked number 4 in New England right now. They've got a pretty tough lineup, themselves all the way up through, and they certainly were not happy when they left here last year, and that's been a long-standing rivalry of ours. Especially in the 80s into the 90s. Dating myself there a little bit, but anyway, so we're looking forward to it. And
then you've been to you were at your Sinus last year, but for a different tournament this time, North-South duels. I'm sure there's some outstanding competition there.
Yeah, for sure, and we have no idea. No, so it's the unknown. We have no idea who we're going to face. So it's going to be people outside of our our region, and that's the idea of these things. So you're not wrestling the same people. So that's good, and we're looking forward to that too.
Thanks, Steve. Happy and safe holiday season, and we will talk to you in early January.
Great, thanks, Rusty.